Imagine spending so many years in the UK, working multiple jobs, paying your taxes, paying rent, renewing visas, no savings, no properties, no investment, nothing, like nothing else to call your own. After I shared my ILR story here, a man reached out to me. He said, please share my story, share my experience so everyone can learn from my mistakes. And honestly, his story shook me because ordinarily, this is the kind of thing many migrants or many people would not want to share publicly. So it's something we'd really have to learn from because this is the reality of so many people, but you don't know about it because people don't really talk about these things publicly. Okay, so let's call his name David because obviously we're going to be sharing his story anonymously. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to be calling him David, and this is his story. My name is Tochi. You're welcome to my channel. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up as you're watching so YouTube can recommend it to more people. Kindly share it to everyone that benefit from it, and to all my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. You're welcome back to today's video. If you're yet to subscribe, please click on the subscribe button right now because I share amazing content that you would definitely love. Now, David moved to London 16 years ago, and at that point, it was all excitement, just like every other person moving abroad. He had hopes, you know, and great dreams. Hope for a better life and future for his wife and son that he was living back at home because he had to move first, you know. So he said that he moved to London at the time and he lived in a shared accommodation. And according to his story, he described it as a glorified boarding house. You know, it was uncomfortable. He had to share bathroom, share kitchen, share literally everything with his housemates. He said he had this particular flatmate that just tried to make life a living hell for him. He just didn't understand why, but the guy just didn't like him, and that made it even more uncomfortable for him living in London. And you guys know how expensive London can be, you know. So he was literally just managing and surviving. And for all the years that he lived in that shared accommodation, he was just uncomfortable, but he had to be there because he knew he needed to save money to be able to bring his wife and son at the time. He stayed there for a while, working every shift he could find. In fact, he said at the time he was doing 2 jobs, nothing less than 2 jobs, warehouse at night or cleaning during the day, and eventually care. Like he was just trying to do anything he could do to raise enough money, you know. Eventually, his wife and son joined him, but before they came, he had to move to a smaller apartment, you know, and then he thought that it was going to be normal. He was now going to start living a normal life because his wife was here, his family was here basically, so he felt that everything was going to be okay. But no, right? That was just not his case. That was not it for him. His wife came, started working as well, and not long after, their family welcomed more children, you know. But this is where it really hit hard. He said that I'll be shocked that even as his wife came and started working, their finances didn't even change that much because the bills increased. They were paying so much in London, paying bills, like everything they made, they literally used it to pay bills, pay rent, and he even struggled to send money back to his mom and siblings back home. Like he really struggled to do that, even though he tried, because they wouldn't really understand that he didn't have money or that him too, he was struggling. Because how can your brother, your uncle, your friend in London not have money? Nobody really, in fact, you can't even tell anybody that you're struggling, you know. So he just struggled silently and still managed to survive and send money to his family back home. But the thing is, all his money or all their money was literally going into their bills, rent, and visa renewals. They were a family of 6 and they really struggled. So he said they kept spending so much money on visa applications or visa renewals, and because they were a family of 6, it was not cheap at all. It just felt like everything they were making, all the money that him and his wife was making at the time, was going basically into their rent, their bills, and their visa renewals and applications. So life just continued like this for them, right? And David told me that by the time they were ready to apply for indefinite leave to remain, he thought that he would have saved up enough money to do that, because that was what he was focused on. Really, like, he had that in mind. He knew that someday he was going to apply for his ILR, so he was just focused on that and nothing else. And when the time eventually came for him to apply for his indefinite leave to remain for himself and his family, he realized that everything he had was gone. Okay, all the money he had was gone. He spent everything on his ILR application and that of his family, and eventually for his British citizenship application. And guess what? He said that I would even think that he would have enough money because he was focused on that, but he still had to borrow money to make up the money he had to apply for himself and his family. So when that moment he's been waiting for came, that moment with the passport in his hand, instead of joy, he said he felt nothing. He just started crying, and then it hit him hard that he had wasted all these years, 15 to 16 years, his years in the UK, and he just has nothing, only that passport, according to his word, right? He said he didn't have any business, no investments, no property, no savings, nothing, just that passport from him and his family. Even though he was supposed to be excited and grateful, honestly, he said, to be honest with me, that he wasn't, because he realized that if he had put in so much work and energy, that much energy he put in getting this passport, if he had put in that much energy in saving and investing or doing something else, that he knows where he would have been. He looked at himself, his mates back at home, what they had achieved, and he realized that all he had achieved for his family was that passport. And so he said, I should tell everybody that cares to listen that people should not make the same mistakes that he made. I remember I said this thing when I was talking about how much it cost us to apply for our ILR and British passports. Please, if you've not watched this video, I'm going to put it in the description box. I said something like that. This thing costs so much money, and you discover that if you're not careful, you will spend so much time and energy preparing to apply for your ILR and British passport and lose yourself in the process and forget that you're supposed to build something for yourself and for your children, something else aside that passport. He said that all those years he was working so hard to survive and maintaining his immigration status that he forgot to live for himself and his family, and that's the mistake that he made, and he doesn't want other people to make it. You know, he saw that I was excited. He was also talking to me as well, even though I'd gotten my ILR, but he saw how excited I was, and then it reminded him of his own story, you know, and that was why he decided to reach out and share, right? Mr. David is a very strong man, I must say, and I must commend him for sharing this story for everybody else to learn a lesson, because it takes someone who is very brave and who has a good heart to want to share their experiences for people to learn from. I really appreciate Mr. David. If you're watching this video, I really appreciate you for doing this. You know, in his word, he said he worked hard but not smart. You know, he was working hard but he wasn't working smart. So it's now just recently that he feel like he has started living again. He had to move out of London to a cheaper city and started working towards getting a mortgage. Imagine getting a mortgage after 17 to 18 years in the UK, you know. And yeah, that was when he decided to get a mortgage and buy a small plot of land back at home. And he just wanted to start from somewhere so that he would not spend another decade with nothing to his name. So he has this message for everyone watching. He said, do not wait to get your passport before you start building your life. Start now, okay, no matter how little, right? And I really understand where he's coming from, because I think I mentioned this thing in one of my previous videos. Like, I understand how exciting, how important this ILR and British citizenship is for a lot of people. Aside the fact that it would even take away some of the restrictions that you have on a visa and everything, it will also help you to be able to do some other kind of things, because just having that ILR takes away all those kind of restrictions from you. So I understand how important it is, but at the same time, understand that it is very, very expensive and it can leave you really, really broke. After I shared that video on how much we spent, somebody said that they spent over £25,000 to get ILR and British citizenship, and some people even spent more. Of course, while on all of these visas, you're going to keep renewing your visa, you're going to keep paying IHS fees and all of those things. Some even have to pay solicitors and all of that, right? So it costs a lot of money, and I understand where Mr. David is coming from, and he was even living in London, and we know how expensive London can be. So it's very easy to lose yourself, to lose everything in the process of saving up for your ILR. But please don't let your immigration status limit you or be the only thing you're going to achieve, you're going to hold on to. Start building something, start creating wealth, start investing. No matter how little, just start. And the earlier, the better. The earlier you start saving towards your ILR and British citizenship application, the better. This should be like a wake-up call for everyone. Do not wait for last minute before you start preparing for it. And we all have been seeing all the immigration brouhaha that's been going on, immigration rules, changes, and all of that. So this should be a wake-up call. This is a video, a story that a lot of us should learn something from. We should all reflect and learn from this. And please, if you have stories like this for people to learn from that you want to share, kindly reach out to me. Obviously, your story is going to be shared anonymously, okay? Trust me, nobody's going to know that you are the one, right? Reach out to me. My email is in the description box, okay? tochiestherbiz@gmail.com. Kindly reach out to me, send an email, and trust me, I'm definitely going to share your story, because we are all here to learn. These are migrants' real life stories and experiences. Whether you are in the UK or you're outside the UK and you have a very inspiring story and experience to share that you feel people would learn one or two lessons from, please reach out. We want to hear your story, right? So thank you so much, Mr. David, for sharing. This goes a long way to show that you're a good man. I wish you and your family all the best, okay? Please begin to explore your British passports. I hope you have traveled to so many countries already, all the countries that you can access with your passport. Please do so, travel, okay? Because you deserve it, right? So yeah, I want to know what you guys think about the story, any lesson that you have learned so far. Please share in the comment section. Don't forget to reach out to me as well to share your own stories and experiences. We are eager, like we can't wait to hear your story. Hope you now understand that even though ILR, British citizenship, British passports, all of those things are important, just understand that it is very expensive. It costs a lot of money, and a lot of families, a lot of people go broke because they don't plan ahead. They go broke after applying for this, right? So please, guys, save. It's time to start acting wisely. The essence of these stories is for us to learn from it, not just to entertain you or for the sake of storytelling. I'm sure Mr. David didn't take his time to write that long email to me just to entertain you. It's for you to learn from his story, to learn from his experiences, and not make the same mistakes that he made, so that you can make better choices, you can make better decisions and do better, you know. So that is the essence of all of this, and honestly, I really want to hear more stories, and my email is wide open for you. Do well to reach out, and surely I'm going to tell your story. It doesn't have to be about visa fees or, you know, how much you spend. No, whatever, whether it's your relationship in the UK, marriage, your finance, your children, whatever it is that you went through as a migrant, or that you have been going through, that you went through and survived and learned a lesson from, and you want people to learn from your experience, do well to reach out, and I'll be glad to tell your story, and we all can learn from it, okay? Yeah, that is it for today's video. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.